Hey guys, Dark Matter here today with a Roman steel V2 for Demoine. First thing right off the bat, you can see the paint is a little bit custom. I did all the painting on this. The gold and black bands here are not common, but he wanted it. He's got a specific backstory for this. It is like I said, Roman's V2. It's really heavy. It's steel. It's very heavy. Does have a Rudy Pando chamber, and it's running a Crucifocus 10. We went with the CFX because deep sleep was very important to Demoine, so we went with that. Shtok pixel connector, the whole bit. Sloth furnace clamp card. You know, it's pretty much rocking all the newest stuff, and a Goth chassis. So it'll come out of the blade here. I made you a custom blade too. We'll get to that. So it'll come out of the packaging after I ship it to you like this. Just unscrew here to get access to your board and everything. So there's your board, SD card, kill switch, and your charge port. Now your recharge port, you will need a 1.3 adapter. If you don't have one, just text me. I'll give you this one because I got a drawer full of them. And this just plugs into your normal 2.1 mil charger into the wall. This then goes into your saber. Just keep in mind, I don't know if you have one of these or not, but just keep in mind that with these 1.3s, when you put it in, it does not go in all the way. So don't mash it thinking it's not in all the way. It's in all the way. I got your SD card set up. There's no crazy stuff, no like fire blades. You wanted it fairly canon.
He doesn't want to go with you. He wants your permission.
Of course, the first font is going to be Luke. I've chosen the one from The Mandalorian. You can pop this back on. In these Roman sabers, the speaker sits inside the clamp because the widest part. So you don't get tons of sound venting. Get these holes, basically, is what you get. They aren't the loudest sabers ever, but that's okay. Just put that, and you probably once you flick this to on, you're probably good because it's set up for deep sleep. So once you're done playing with it, you can just set it down. To wake it up, I think you just hold one of the buttons for a sec. You'll hear the boot sound again. It'll go to sleep after about 5 minutes of inactivity. Put that back on, and then the bottom of the clamp here is your power. Keep in mind that it's about a quarter of the way up, maybe a third, right there. They're not right at the ends. They're in about 3 or 4 lines here. I would recommend leaving the clamp card alone. I didn't use the switch holder that comes with. I bought a different one on Etsy because I wanted to try it out, and it does in fact work a little better. But there's little springs in there that keep the card pushed up against the rails here instead of it, kind of falling down. I also custom cut. I don't even know if you can see it. There's a small piece of aluminum underneath the whole thing so it doesn't rock back and forth. It's sturdy against the clamp. Just so when you push the button, they don't mash down into the cavity there. You get a good like feedback on it. if you don't know how to use the crystal focus, it's really pretty simple. You can just press and hold the auxiliary and it'll take you to the menu.
Sound bank selection.
Are you a Jedi?
And from here you can just
I am.
hey, you can just use the aux switch to cycle through, to another font.
Ben Solo.
General Crow, you're being relieved of duty. Hey, Ugly! Come and get me!
And then just press and hold it to select that. And you're good. To see your crystal chamber, you want to undo the pressure on the clamp, just like that, and just a very slight twist clockwise, just away, not very much, and then just pull out. And that's it. So it does have the full Pando chamber with all the brass extras and goodies. That's running an Illumicore crystal, so it has an embedded neopixel, so it's very bright. So the crystal chamber will rotate a little bit like this. That's to lock it in. So now you can see it. It won't go in. So in order to put it back in, just rotate it back the opposite way, push it back in, and then just back that little bit, and then you can lock it down. And now it's not going to go anywhere. Keep in mind, because this came up on a different build, not yours, but someone else's. Let me get it apart. So at the top of the crystal chamber, which when it's closed is right up here, there's a spring connector right there. And when the saber is together, obviously it's making connection with another connector that's right there. So when you're open in reveal configuration, your main blade is not going to light. The main blade. Or the pixel connector. See? Because that connection is lost, because now the spring connector is way down here. I don't know if that goes without saying, so I'm saying it. It was an issue on a previous build for a different client, so wondering why the blade didn't light while it was open. And honestly, when it's open, it's more vulnerable anyway. I'm not sure why you'd want it to, but that is how that works. Now there is a way around that. You could run wires up to it and always have that connection, but as soon as you close it, where do the wires go? They're gonna bunch up. They're gonna break. So this is the way that's done nowadays. So let's go back through.
Sound bank selection.
General Kenobi.
Master Yoda.
I've got a bunch of.
Meditate on this. I will.
I've got a bunch of just, Luke, Yoda, Ben Solo, mostly light side. There's only one red blade on this whole thing, and you can change it, which I'll show you in a sec. Good old Yoda.
Sound bank selection.
Master Yoda.
Remy.
Revolt.
Ben Kenobi? Hello there.
You get the point. So you can cycle through those, play around with them.
Sound bank
I'm
selection.
gonna go back to the beginning.
Youngling.
This is General Kenobi.
Audio player. SD card use system menu. Exit menu.
Are you a Jedi?
Right there.
I am. He doesn't want to go with you.
Okay.
He wants your permission.
All right. So I also made you a custom blade for this. So as you can see, the PCB is recessed by a certain amount. So we were having a conversation about blades the other day. So basically, if you were to use a normal end of a blade like this, you're going to get very little blade depth. You can see from here to there, it's, I don't know, 12 millimeters or something. It's not much. Just because of the way thin necks are, you know, you're only going to get so much blade depth anyway. So to get around that, the aluminum holder has a recess around it, and that is why we need a recessed blade like this to give you this extra amount of blade depth. Otherwise, blades just fly out of thin neck sabers all the time. So I did drill and put in a couple of 256 screws. They're flush, obviously, so it'll slip in. You don't see these when it's in, obviously. But that will allow you to have the maximum amount of blade depth. You had asked about heavy grade blades. Well, the wall thickness here of the blade will not fit down into that lower slot there. So the only depth that you would have is this much, and I guarantee you it would just fly away. So that's why I said, well, you can't really use a dueling blade and a thin neck. It's just not. It's not very feasible, unless it's just for display, you know. So this will just slide in. You can feel it stop. There you go. It's not tightened down, obviously, but. One thing that I did want to bring up is when I was working on your saber originally, this is the original blade retention screw right there. Now you had asked me to put in another one, which I did right there. When I was making that hole, since it's a steel, I drilled through it fine and broke the tap off. It does happen. I was ready to buy you a whole new emitter, except for the fact that you've had yours nickel plated, and so the whole saber is nickel plated underneath all this, all the exposed areas. This is nickel plated. So I was like, well, crap, you know, it's never a good thing. But I did manage to use a diamond drill bit, drilled it out. So now, these two screws are actually different sizes. So one of them's 440, the original one, and one's 632. That was just a compromise that needed to be made. I'm just happy that I was able to save the emitter. But yeah, so the last feature I wanted to show you is the spectrum. So when the saber's on, you hold the aux button for a second and twist, and it'll say, you'll hear it say spectrum, and then when you rotate the saber, I believe it's this way, it'll change the color of your blade and the crystal. So you can play around with it, you know, change the color, whatever you want. You can always change it back, you know, just enter the mode again. So
Spectrum.
you can see it on my hand there. Yellow, purple, icy blue, orange, all kind of different stuff, right? And then when you get to where you want, just hit it again, it locks it in. So when your crystal's open,
Spectrum.
it also works. It does whatever the blade does. So I'm gonna leave it on green, but you get the idea. Finding that here nice. There's only so many color presets, so it's easy to get back to it. But okay. And that's pretty much it. When you're putting your blade in, try to put it, if you need to rotate it at all, make sure you do it clockwise, because the cup that the LED sits in is threaded into this. So if you're going lefty with your blade, you're actually going to loosen that cup. If that happens, I'll loosen it by hand a little bit right now. See how it gets wobbly a little bit? So if that happens, gently just grab the edge of one of these, like LEDs, no, not on the pins maybe, but, and just hold it and turn the emitter, and you'll feel it snug back down right there. Now it's, I don't like making that connection permanent, just in case I ever need to, you know, service it or get in there, look at the parts. I don't like to glue threads like that in general if I can help it. And you know, once you're done playing with it, you can pretty much put it on the shelf. It'll go to sleep by itself in 5 minutes. And like I said, when you are ready to use it again, just hold the button for a sec. I believe that's hold the button for a sec. Just pushing it, I don't think will do it. Just hold the button. It'll wake up. You'll hear the boot sound again. Off you go. Don't forget to text me about this little adapter. I'll just put it in the shipping box if you need it. No big deal. Don't forget about the depth of these. It only goes in so far. I only mention that because it's been an issue in the past for other people. So, and this just plugs right into your normal 2.1, like I said, into the wall. But you definitely need this. So, if you have any other questions or want me to make any other changes, Demoine, give me a text, and if not, I'll probably get this ready for shipping out in the next day or two. And thanks for watching, everybody.